Hello, welcome back everyone. So आज चाहिँ हामी if conditional questionsहरुको MCQ गर्न गइरहेका छौं, where we are going to see how do we use the correct phrase or the correct verb. So के भन्छ, if conditional statement को MCQ कसरी आउँछ भने you will either get the if clause, main clause अनि बिचमा चाहिँ एउटा verb हुँदैन, so you have to use the correct form of verb, or else कहिलेकाहीँ sentence complete गर्न पनि आउँछ. यता चाहिँ you just have to put the correct verbs. So let's see how we can do it. So for the यो solve गर्नको लागि the first thing हामीले जुन आफ्नो दिमागमा राख्नुपर्छ is कि हामीले find out गर्नुपर्छ कि यो type 1 हो, type 2 हो कि type 3 हो if conditional sentences को. त्यो find out गरिसकेपछि you will remember the formula. Formula याद गरेसी you can easily put the answers किनभने त्यो structure मै form भइहाल्छ and then you will get the exact answer. So let's look at the first question that we have is if I had enough money, I dashed the radio. Now we have options bought, would buy, would have bought and had bought. So यो चाहिँ कुन चाहिँ type मा पर्छ भने this would be if I had money. Let's see. If I had money, if मसँग पैसा हुन्थ्यो भने which is past, I dash the radio. If मसँग पैसा हुन्थ्यो भने म यो काम गर्थे, which forms in type 3. So type 3 मा यो आउँदाखेरि we don't use the V2. We don't even use would buy. Would buy would be in like type 2. Would have bought. So this is the correct answer. If I had enough money, I would have bought the radio. Moving on to the second question that we have is, if it rains, you dash wet. So, अब यो चाहिँ कस्तो question भयो भने, यो चाहिँ कस्तो sentence भयो भने, if it rains, we all know, if पानी पर्यो भने हामी भिज्छौं भनेर, there is no chance कि पानी पर्यो र हामी भिज्दैनौं, किनभने पानीमा गयो भने we will obviously get wet, and this is like a sentence that cannot be changed, like factual. So if it rains, you will get wet because it's certain, like it's there. त्यो त्यहाँ हुने नै हो कुरा, यो त्यस्तो कुरा हो. This forms in type 1. So if it rains, you will get wet. So the third question now we have is, she would go to the job center if she dash a job. अब यसमा के छ भने, she would go to the job center. उ job center जान्थ्यो if उलाई त्यो job चाहिएको थियो. अब if के हुन्छ त, she would go to the job center if she dash a job. Had wanted a job, will want a job, wanted a job, or wants a job. So here we can see she would go to the job center. उ job center जान्थ्यो if she wanted a job. If उलाई job चाहिएको भए उ job center जान्थ्यो. So the correct answer is wanted. Moving on to the fourth question. The dog dash you if it hadn't been tied up. You again, this is like the first question that we had. The dog dash if it hadn't been tied up. Would bite, will bite, would have bitten, bites. Here what happens is, dog ले टोकेको हुन्थ्यो if त्यो dog बाँधेको हुँदैन थियो भने. अब this is something that is like past form मा भइराछ, तर it would have been something like this. So यसमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने, the dog would have bitten if it hadn't been tied up. Moving on to the fifth question that we have is, it dash easy to paint pictures if you know how to. Would be, had been, would have been, be. What happens here is, it dash easy to paint pictures if you knew how to. यहाँ चाहिँ के देखाइरहेको छ भने, if तिम पिक्चरहरु पेन्ट गर्न इजी हुन्थ्यो if तिमलाई आउँथ्यो कि त्यो पेन्ट कसरी गर्ने हो भनेर. So had been हुँदैन, would have been पनि हुँदैन, be पनि हुँदैन. We are eliminating it. It be easy to paint pictures if you know how to. No, this doesn't form a sentence, correct sentence. It would have been easy to paint pictures if you knew how to. This is also not the correct answer. So it had been easy to paint pictures if you knew how to. This is also not the correct answer. The correct answer would be. It would be easy. त्यो easy हुन्थ्यो. It had been the past form मा गयो अनि यो चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ kind of type 3 मा लगिदिन्छ would have been. So we use it would be easy to paint pictures if you know how to, because this specific sentence is in type 1 को conditional sentences. Now we'll move. So the second question we have is not the second, like the sixth question after that. The sixth question we have is, if I come, I dash you, and the options are saw, would see, will see and sees. अब यसमा चाहिँ के भनिरहेछ भने if I come, if म त्यहाँ गएँ भने I dash you. अब यहाँ चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने we cannot use past form, किनभने यहाँ छ if I come. if ऊ आउँछ भने लाइक पोसिबिलिटी छ नआउने पनि, तर if ऊ आयो भने उसले चाहिँ उसलाई हेर्छ, which means he will see that specific person. So saw त हुन सक्दैन, would see पनि हुन सक्दैन, those are like past forms. sees V5 we don't use it. So if I come, I will see you. That this is the correct options. Now the seventh questions. She dash pleased if you came. यहाँ चाहिँ के छ भने ऊ प्लिज हुन्थ्यो if तिमी आएको भए. would have been, would has been, was, would be. She was pleased if you came. अब यहाँ came छ, so obviously we cannot use was. Let's eliminate. Would has been. She would has been pleased if you came. No. Would have been. She would have been pleased if you came. So would have been pleased. If she would have been pleased if you come back away, we would use would have been. तर if we use would have been यता pleased र came सँग, that wouldn't form the correct structure and the correct sentence. So the correct answer is she would be pleased if you came. Now the eighth question that we have is, if it dash, I would stay at home. If it rains, I would stay at home. If it rained, I would stay at home. If has rained, I would stay at home. Had rained, I would stay at home. So अब यहाँ के हुन्छ भने if it dash, I would stay at home. Would मतलब past form मा भइरहेको छ, past form मा भइसकेको छ. So if it rained, I would stay at home. Now the ninth question we have is, you will catch the train if you dash earlier. You will catch the train if you left earlier, leaves earlier, leave earlier, would leave earlier. So what will be the correct answer here? You will time. You will catch the train if you dash earlier, which means यो फ्युचरमा हुनवाला छ. अहिले हामी प्रेजेन्टमा छौँ, सो प्रेजेन्टको कुरा गरौँ. सो लेफ्ट पास्टमा भयो, लिभ्स would be V5 अनि would leave would be also like would leave. So the correct answer here is leave. You will catch the train if you leave earlier. Last question हेरौँ त अब. If he dash thirsty, he would have drunk some water. If he was, had been, is, would drink. This will probably not be the correct sentence if we write if he would drink thirsty, he would have drunk some water. So this is not the correct option. If he is thirsty, he would have drunk some water. अब यहाँ चाहिँ we use like drunk, he would, so is हुँदैन. If he was thirsty, he would have drunk some water. If he had been, thirsty, he would have drunk some water. So the correct answer here is, if he had been thirsty, he would have drunk some water. Now this is it for the MCQ of if conditional questions. These were the short ones. And yeah, the main thing you need to keep in mind is the type of sentence you are dealing with, like कुन type of conditional questions छ अनि कुन type of conditional sentences छ, and त्यसरी गरेर चाहिँ हामी verb find गर्छौं, and then we first eliminate गर्दा नि हुन्छ, or else if correct answer थाहा छ भने त्यो direct tick गर्दा नि हुन्छ. So yeah, that's it.